Hi, Chris.
Chris Gethard is coming in. What's up, bud?
Not much. How are you?
I'm not even
good.
nervous about this interview because we know Chris, and I also, now we know what we can ask him.
Okay, well, I mean, did you just hear?
Chris, what is the
Why would
best
you
piece
start?
of advice you ever received?
Give yourself no other option.
In the book, you draw a distinction between
What is this?
not
What the hell
losing
is
and
going
winning.
on?
Can you elaborate?
Did they give you dummy questions? Did they send you shitbag questions? I'm so sorry.
Oh, these are
I
good
want to know
questions.
the answer.
Oh,
Chris,
that is humiliating.
I
the
want to
book-
know the answer.
Hold on, in the book.
No, oh, this is
You draw-
humiliating.
in the
This
book,
is humiliating.
you-
Why you?
I want to know the answer.
You
They
draw-
might as well throw meat to wolves.
No, they're fair questions. You draw a distinction between not losing and winning. Can you elaborate?
No. No.
What does it mean to lose well?
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, no.
These are very fair. What are some
Burn
examples?
those, Jim.
They're good questions. What are some examples from your career of how you have successfully embraced your personal brand of weird?
Oh, I want to know that. Because I've got my own personal brand of weird, but I just can't figure out how to successfully implement it into my career.
I gotta get
Chris?
somebody a talking.
Chris's book is called Lose Well. Is it out today or tomorrow?
It was out last week.
Oh, last Tuesday. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Good for you, buddy.
I wish that had been one of the questions on the show.
I know.
That's how I'm promoting it. That is, I need to tell these people they need to.
That's a good question. I had a couple of really good ones here.
Yeah, but they gotta research their what we're getting into a little.
Like, which show are we sending questions to?
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on. Like these are people I've known for a long time who also enjoy busting balls. What are we doing? Oh, don't.
Okay, let's get to the
He's
next
marking,
question.
He's checking off the ones. There's like 30 on there.
Hold on. Let me ask you. What does the mantra "funny plus" mean to you?
Oh, yeah, I want to know. What is Funny Plus?
No.
What does Funny Plus mean?
It's a thing I say in there that when you get good at what you do, you got to try to add a little more to that. Like you don't
I
want to just
see.
match where the bar's been set. You want to raise it. Can we
I
please
see.
talk about really?
I
Can't we just talk
see.
about wrestling like we usually do?
Do you know when you go into an interview
Oh God.
and they're reading like
Yeah.
I think I've done this same 30-question interview 100 times. Why?
Why the? Fuck
I can't
did
even
they
imagine
do
why a
this?
person who hosts a radio show would
Why
be like,
would
"Oh,
they
cool, they did my
do
work
this?
for me."
Dude, these are fair. This is one I would have
Jim.
probably asked anyway. I might, you know, I like you.
The look of glee on your face. It's like someone handed you a loaded gun.
You found a good one.
I did, yeah.
Don't do this.
Because I was very curious about this. How can you tell when our dreams are worth the sacrifice
Don't
and
do
hard work that it
this.
will take to achieve them?
Oh, I'm sweating.
That's actually a really good
I'm
question, Jim.
Sweating.
These guys, this is from
I'm sweating.
the people on Harper One. Lose
Oh,
Well.
No.
It's a one sheet. By the way, Chris is doing book signings. We should plug these, of course.
Right, you can ask him all these questions yourself at the book signing.
Yes. Well, the 17th is done. The 18th is done. The 20th is done. What is
nightmare.
today's date?
29th.
Okay, the 22nd is done. The 25th is done. The
don't have to-
26th is done.
Okay.
There's one left, which is in Washington, D.C. Will be Monday, November the 12th at 7 p.m. It's at Politics and Prose, which is in District Square. And you really should go and support the books. Book signings are important.
Yes.
They help you get on the bestseller list.
Yes.
They sell books, and you get
Yes.
to meet Chris, say hello, and get your book signed. So
Which
you
I'm
really
sure
should
everybody
go.
wants to do right now after those stunning, insightful questions.
I want to know about your personal brand of weird.
You know, I would love to
No.
know. I mean, let me just, between you and me.
Oh, no.
Jim, can you ask one of those famous, I always tell you after the show, I love when you get into those Jim Norton questions
Yeah.
where you go through the kind of fake exterior and you really hit hard.
You do caution readers that the world is full of Dusty Bunters.
God.
Who is
Oh,
Dusty
God.
Bunters, and
You
what
would like-
lessons did
you
he
would
teach
like
you?
those stories, but I know we're not going to slow down.
Who's Dusty? No, who is Dusty Bunters?
He was my first manager, and he was one of these managers that we've all run into, which is like he wasn't a manager. He was some guy trying to sink his claws into a young kid.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
sure.
psychopath.
Yeah.
And those are pretty funny stories. These questions maybe.
Was that his real name, or is that a?
No, that's a lie. He would
Okay.
have sued the shit out of me for
Sure,
the things I
sure.
wrote about him. Yeah, he's a truly dangerous human being who tried to sign me when I was 20 years old, and it was weird, man.
Is he still a manager?
I think so. I Google his real name every once in a while. And
You
he's
don't talk
out
to him
there.
at all, though.
Oh no. He once sent me out on a what turned out I did not know. I thought it was an audition for a commercial, and it was a hand modeling audition for Doritos. And have you seen my hands? I have like a skeletal deformity
Oh my
in my
God.
fingers. Like nobody wants their Doritos with this claw hand.
That's
dipping.
very funny. But did he not know that about you, or he just didn't pay attention?
He just paid no attention. And I was like, you got to tell me when it's hand modeling.
Jesus
you might want
Christ.
to mention that, dude. I
Yeah.
took a day off of work. Came in from
He should have sent you
Jersey.
out for radar and MASH with that hand.
No, there's very few roles that this fits.
What happened to your hand?
I was same thing with my elbows and my knees. I was
Oh, a little
born
bump,
with this
yeah.
fucked up skeleton.
Oh,
thing.
I never would have noticed that if you didn't.
Thank you so much.
Say it. And the elbows. Val Kilmer has that, and there's a picture of him from Heat but they said he injured it in a fall. But I wonder if he was just born that way and nobody noticed. It's like a ball of on the elbow.
Oh yeah, I know that sometimes like I think that people have that is an injury that can build where it just like kind of grows like a sack on your elbow.
Why do you claim that it's important to always be
Jesus.
terrified when it comes to reaching goals?
Oh
Jesus
man, that's such a
Christ.
good question.
It is.
This is a nightmare. And I feel like this is the worst possible timing for me because I feel like we've gotten to know each other just well enough that the gloves can come off.
Oh yeah.
That the gloves can come up. Like I'm
Right.
just on the other side of the line where I know that this is okay.
Like Montreal was probably the line, right? Like Montreal went really, really
I
well.
think so. And we've run into each other at the cellar enough times now.
Sure, I really like Chris. I think he's very funny and unique.
Well, you're getting to know a different side of him through some of the great questions you're
Oh,
asking.
Yeah, these are
You're
really
killing it right
I
now,
thought you were
Jim.
going to be the nice one and you're being the mean one.
Yeah.
Jim and I have been criticized before with guests that sometimes we don't understand that the game is not supposed to be bad cop, bad
Worst cop. Yeah, bad cop, worst cop. Well, you do advise readers occasionally.
Yeah.
Run that red light. Why should we choose to break rules that don't make sense for us? How can we be sure to do so responsibly? What is an example from your career when you run a red light and it worked?
Yeah.
On the very, very slim chance any of your listeners have bought the book, they're now returning it.
But it's funny the way a book publisher or a person who doesn't, just the way somebody in the business will phrase things.
Yeah, but you also know that those questions are absolutely asked every radio phoner that you
Sure.
do. Like all this, those are all for the small market radio stations.
Yeah.
That you go phoner to phoner, and they just sit there. They read the questions. You give the same answer, and somehow everybody just kind of feels like, okay, we did it.
Well, it is also a thing that's been a little bit of a back and forth between me and the publisher, which is that they are a self-help company. And it is, I guess, in some sense, a self-help book. It's a very pessimistic one where I aim to be funny.
Sure.
And I've told them comedy has to come first. It has to. I'm not interested in writing something that's not funny at its core. And I think maybe there are people who are used to working on a different type of book that doesn't have that caveat attached to it.
Yeah, but it's important though when you're a comic. The thing you have to serve is being funny, and then if it helps you, great, or if it's informative, great. But it's got to be funny first. You're a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They saw my HBO special about the depression stuff, and they said, we really want to work with you. We think you have a way of connecting with people. And I said, this is a weird challenge to do something with a self-help company, but I'll go for it. Why not? It was a good deal. It was a good opportunity. They showed some belief in me, and now I got to sit here and eat shit during this. Sit here and eat shit during this in exchange.
They did send a bunch of questions though, it was very funny. We got them this morning. We're like, oh boy.
If it makes you feel any better, Jim wrote his initials on his microphone earlier this
I did,
morning.
yeah.
So
You did.
that's
But
why.
somebody
that's
pointed out it
nice.
looks like us. Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that? Was that some OCD?
I use this mic. I don't like other people using my mic. I don't want to breathe in somebody else's scent, and I also don't want somebody sick getting. So I've been using the old thing. I just realized how do I know it's mine?
His name's already on it.
Is this with all microphones?
No,
Is
it's
this
just
like
this one.
stand up as well?
No, just here.
That is
I
one of
talk
the-
for 3 hours a day.
That is one of the worst things, though, when some other comic with like a wet hacking cough goes up right before you, and you're like, take the night off. Take the night
worst.
off.
And you ever smell a mic? It's
Yeah.
fucking.
Horrible.
Little chunk of food in it or
Dude,
something.
it's fucking
Ugh.
disgusting. A mic is. That's why guys use like the wraparound ones for themselves, those little teeny ones, because the mics are fucking gross.
I've had it. I'm very physically uncoordinated too, where I'll have it where sometimes I get excited and like hit my lip.
Ah, yeah.
The mic will touch my lip, and I'm just like, oh.
You ever see comics that put the mic in their mouth? I've seen that.
As
And
like a
we know
gag?
that we know the things comics do.
Ugh. And you'd think too, like
Ooh.
mics aren't that expensive. Like for a comedy club to replace a mic every month would not be that big of a deal. But they're
No.
not going to.
No way.
It's not going to happen.
No way.
No, I don't like fat mics. I'm such a weirdo.
What do you mean fat mics?
I like a thin corded microphone. I don't like a microphone that's cordless
like
and
how
bulkier.
thin? Like Bob Barker on The
No,
Price
no,
is
no,
Right?
not
Hey,
a
I'm
fucking.
Jim Norton.
Yeah, no, not a waif microphone. Just a regular like Comedy Cellar.
You don't like that big cordless, thick,
Hate
square
it.
one.
I
Yeah.
fucking hate
Oh,
them.
I know what you're talking about.
They're not comfortable. They don't feel natural.
Someone told me the quote. Someone said that there's a thing. Real comics use corded mics. Is that a thing?
I've never heard that quote, but whoever gave it is probably an ass.
You're probably just an older person that like they didn't have cordless microphones before.
Yeah, when I was your age, you had to dance over it and make it part of your routine. Shut up.
Right.
A little
Fucking
harder
cares.
to prowl the stage like a panther in that case, isn't it, Norton?
Yeah, there's times where I can't untangle it. I'm a clumsy fuck. That is the worst when you walk on stage and you try to lower the mic stand and you can't lower it. And you're like, what a fucking pussy I look like. I can't lower the mic stand or I can't untangle it. It's just very unprofessional.
Have you had the one too where you can't lower the mic stand and you force it and then it drops to like 2 feet down and every sense of alpha male confidence, control over the crowd is just gone?
Yeah. Like my basic tool I don't know how to use.
Yeah,
Right.
The one thing I have is that I'm the one who has the microphone, and I can't figure that out.
And they can see it.
Oh,
Plus, then they
God.
also know you don't fix anything in your house. You don't know how to
Right.
do anything on your car. You
Yeah.
can't figure out a mic stand. You can't figure
No.
out anything.
No,
So are you happy with the way things are going?
just in a broad sense.
Yeah. You're doing good, obviously.
I'm okay. You know, the depression sometimes creeps back in.
Yeah.
My TV show just got canceled, and that's okay. They gave me the option, and I pulled the plug. They were, "Do you want to keep working on it? Keep fighting for it?" I was like, "No, I'm done."
Was it?
I'm a little
Where
rattled.
was it?
TruTV.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wasn't it on another place first?
it was on Fusion, and before that, we spent years on public access.
Okay.
So we kind of built it our own way, and that was the thing. They were like, "The numbers aren't good. We have to change it a lot." And I was like, "I spent years building this weird psychopath thing myself. I don't want to change it."
What did they want to change?
They wanted it to go from an hour to a half an hour, and I felt like that was going to squeeze it too much. And I think there was a real obsession with like the celebrity involvement with it that was kind of butting heads with the ability to just do the comedy the way I wanted to.
They
And-
wanted more celebrities.
yeah, and wanted
Ugh.
things to revolve around that, and it was just a bit much. So I'm doing good overall, but definitely a little stressed out.
Will
as
you
I
do it
tend to
somewhere
be.
else?
Nah, I'm done with it.
Okay,
I'm
but you
done.
could, I'm sure.
I could go pitch some version of it, I'm sure. but
Netflix.
I just don't.
I mean, everyone
wanna.
says that, but why not?
Dude, we got canceled, and then like 3 weeks later, they put all their shows on TruTV, put everything on Netflix. I'm like, oh god, that would have helped us a lot.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
to find an audience that was more.
But the show was also live, right? Netflix doesn't do live.
It was, but I mean, it still would have
Replays.
Yeah, it would have had retained the live feel. But what can you do?
Yeah,
Are you
so-
worried
about-
financially, you mean, or are you just like a little bit?
No, I'm actually like, you know, I never, anytime I get a gig that pays me money, I never change my lifestyle. I
Right.
just continue to live in Queens with my wife, like put my head down, do the work. So money wise, I've got more of a safety net, but future wise, it's like the least of a game plan I've had in 10 years. And that's just, that's like actually a pretty exciting thing, but can also be nerve wracking.
Because you just, you had that steady thing of, okay, I'm doing the show. It's like,
and you know me well enough to know it's like I'm doing the show, and then I'm also writing this book on the side secretly, and then I'm also going out on the road and doing this and that, and it's like it's just the least balls I've had in the air in a while. So,
But there's probably also something about like you're at a certain place now where it doesn't quite fit doing the same thing that you were doing
yeah,
all those years ago.
100%. Because the idea for the TV show, I had it when I was 27, and now I'm 38, and I still loved it. But we did also, it was like really absurdist. It was like you know, it was like if you ever saw the movie UHF, it was like trying to do that for real on live TV. So it was like they'd yell at me. Sometimes the network would yell at me, and I'd be like, "Why are we fighting? Like this is a bit where I get locked in a cage and have piles of human hair dropped on me. Like why am I
Ugh.
getting yelled at about the best way to do that? It's the dumbest idea. Like
Right.
we do it or we don't. Like every time they yell at me, I just be like, I'm 38 years old. Like this is already such a stupid thing. Like I don't need notes on the best way to get tossed into a dunk tank. Like this is dumb.
were they
This is
were they
dumb.
giving you dumb network notes?
They weren't even dumb. I'll give them more credit than that, and I do appreciate the opportunity. It was just a lot of them. There was
Yeah.
one day where they gave us 5 hours of notes before the show. It's a live show. It's like an hour-long show. How can it get 5 hours of notes for a live improvised show? It doesn't make sense.
Especially something that you just made up as you went for all those years.
Yeah.
To now go into this place where there's other people getting their hands on it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is not what we did this for.
But the numbers were bad, so they earned that right. You
Yeah.
know, I'm also humble enough to know, like, if the numbers were huge, I could just go, hey, no,
Sure.
I'm not interested. But the numbers were going in the wrong direction. So they were trying to help, but... and then I'd have to go on live TV with 5 hours of notes in my head, which is not fun. It's
Right.
just not fun. I think people who were watching, like my Aunt Karen one time watched the show and emailed me the next day. My aunt from Freehold, she just goes, "Hey, watched the show last night. I hope you're getting enough sleep." Like that's what was coming
Oh,
across
no.
on live TV, and I was
You
just
were
like,
tuckered
I'm
out?
done. I'm done.
And plus on public access, you don't have to worry about the numbers as much. Who gives a
No.
fuck?
No, you just put it out there and then you stick it on YouTube and let it find the people who are going to find it. And they were so passionate and it was really cool, but it was kind of growing beyond that. It was time to end it.
So
wrap it up.
Okay, but it's something you could always do again if you want to.
And I'm sure it'll serve me well. I'm sure that.
I'll tell you how it's going to serve you well. Is that obviously
God.
it
Here
got
goes.
canceled, right?
Here we go.
Before the book came out.
The look in your eye.
But now, when you're on the tour saying, like, lose well, all failures are
It is
good,
true.
you could be like, hey, I'm still losing.
It has actually segued nicely. And I was writing the book while the show was failing. And I'm writing a book about the positive side of failure and how that can tie into your career. And I was like, this is pretty fitting because I see where this is going.
So really, the book is just you trying to help yourself get through the fact that you know this show is ending.
It's me desperately trying to rationalize where I'm at 100%.
No, it's a good thing.
It's mostly for
it's a
me,
good
but
thing.
if the rest of you like it.
Was that a hard decision to finally go no?
I actually feel like that's something that I've learned over and over again is one of the only things that I have as the artist in situations. It's like my ability to call people's bluff and be like, yeah, no thanks, and walk away.
Right.
That's one of the only things we actually have is our ability to go like, nope, fuck off, sorry. No,
Doesn't it
it's
suck
good.
when they go, all right, and they actually let you walk?
It's true, but when that happens, I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, you got to be
honestly.
ready to walk. Like
Yeah.
it's like when you walk onto a used car lot, you have to be ready to walk away for real.
Yeah.
Like if you don't want to buy it, you have to, and they have to know. And sometimes that will entice them to give you a better deal, and other times they'll go, "Nah, I just can't do it either," and you have to go.
Yeah, but it is this weird industry that we're in where it's like there's dozens of professional middlemen who haven't really proven themselves in any way.
Right.
And the ones who do, I have an immense amount of respect for, but
you also, sometimes when you're going through that maze, like, you don't even know what the actual message that's coming from above is because it gets
No.
filtered through all these people that you're like,
1,000%.
this is just your opinion. This isn't
Yeah.
even the network's
Yeah.
opinion.
And meanwhile, it's like I'm the one who has to actually go do it. I'm the one in the trenches. I'm the one who has to go test stuff out and see how it succeeds, see how it bombs. I'm the one who has to go do that. So if you're telling me something that's against all my instincts, I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah, and
You
they
gotta.
sorry.
No,
They
that's it.
do mean well, but a lot of times it's like very rarely do you get network notes as a comic or actor that you go, that's a great note. It's
Yeah.
rare. Sometimes there is, but you almost like it's never good.
And when someone gives you those notes, excuse me, you're like hanging on to that person for dear life
Yeah.
at that point. We're like, oh, thank God I found somebody who's smart. But I feel like you probably get the same thing too, where people look at me and they're like, oh, you're so weird. We want that. And it's like, no, you don't. And I feel like for you, that must have happened so many times where people are like, we want your, like, you'll go dark, you'll get raw. We want that. And then you get into the notes process and you're like, oh, you never wanted
You never
that.
wanted that. Yeah, you
wanted
said you
to
wanted
feel
this.
cool enough to say that. That's what you wanted. You
Right.
wanted to think you were cool enough to want that, but you don't want that.
Or you saw one moment of it or one bit on it and liked it, but like when it comes to bits 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, you want it to be kind of the way you see a show going, or the way. And again, that's just the way they see a show. It's their network. But yeah, no, I've never found anything that fit. And part of it's me, and maybe I'm just not good enough in certain areas to make it work. But then there's been other times where I've gone back and forth with notes, and it's like, no, that's not what I wanted to do, and it's not what you said you wanted from me either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens.
Get the hell out of there.
Are you excited that this book is in people's hands and out now, and like this thing that you've been working on?
I was
for
up
all
until
this time?
20 minutes ago.
Then it's
I
like
was up until
the
those
questions.
I
They're good
cannot.
questions.
I have not.
Did you
seen
tackle all
those.
of them, Jim?
I have not seen those before. What else do they have on there?
Yeah, did you tackle?
What do you say
I'm
to
also-
people who, when frightened by the idea of building their dreams,
Is this really what they?
tell themselves no one will get it anyway? What do you say to those people?
I could see where in that question the focus would be on the comedy, not the self-help.
Sure.
my
Because I'm sure people have come
gosh.
up to you and said, Chris, I'm frightened about the idea of building my dreams. I keep telling myself no one will get it anyway. What would you say to that person?
What would you say? Great question, Jim.
Thanks, Sam.
See, I'm now also as a comedian, I'm at the point where I know this is the funny thing
Sure.
to do, but it is intensely painful.
Oh, of course it is.
And you're putting little condescending. You're letting me watch you put little condescending check marks next to the one you asked.
No, yeah,
You're
that's right.
tilting the paper my way, so I see how many more are
There's
left.
only 2 more. And they're good questions.
Are they good?
Yeah.
Are they as good as the ones that have been asked previously?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get worse.
So does this also give you pause when you hear these questions being read to you in this way? Do you now go back to any of the interviews you've been doing on this press tour and go, oh no, he didn't
Yeah.
read the book. He was reading off the sheet.
1,000%.
So basically, they were making you think you were a bigger hit. They do this for all of us, I'm sure, when we do a book. And it's probably not a bad idea to have some possible questions you could rephrase just so the interview goes well and you sell the book.
Right.
This is like I'm feeling shame in like a junior high school.
Are you really?
I'm feeling like I asked a girl to dance and she rejected me in front of all my peers. Like it's that level of instinct.
Well, this isn't your
shame.
fault. Should be shame on the book company.
Right.
I mean, this isn't you. It's not like you did this. This is funny that they would do this and think that it's a great idea.
And you're right about the issue is who they're sending it to, in the sense that,
Right.
of course, this is going to get sent to every
yeah, we're your
you know,
friends. I mean, it's
small-
different.
Well, really, are you?
Yeah, you don't send it to people who.
Yeah. We're trying to, the same way you lose well, you know, a failure is actually a success. We try to hurt our friends.
What are some examples in your career? You know, it's one of those things though, where if this was sent to me about somebody who I didn't know,
Right.
it's just some actor. I mean, we might ridicule it, we might not, but we wouldn't probably let them know. We would just ignore it, and we've been sent this shit before.
I even feel like 3 appearances ago you would have ignored it. And now
Not now. You're a comic. I probably immediately would have. For stand-ups are different. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you got Ricky Gervais with it when they tried to send like a bio.
Oh, we did get
with
Ricky
his
with that. Oh, God,
statistics, yeah.
he hated it too.
He hated
He did
it.
not like it at all.
No.
you guys are repeating this bit, huh?
Oh, we
I
sure
feel
are.
less bad now.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
no.
less
This
bad.
is a repeat bit. We would do it.
this
I
is a-
forgot about Ricky.
This is a staple.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, yeah. We asked him. What were some of the questions? I don't
No,
remember.
it wasn't questions. It was the introduction for him, and it was like his list of like the number
Oh,
one
yeah,
this
he
and
was-
millions of that.
And he was like, "Oh, fuck off." He hated it.
He wanted to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have a momentary instinct of fleeing. I won't
Did
lie.
you?
I did.
Your fight or flight kicked in.
Yeah, and
was-
it went.
was flight.
I knew that all those questions gave you every advantage in the fight.
Oh my God. I
Well,
love
you know
it.
what? I mean, look, you perform stand up even as other areas of your career continue to gain traction. What do you love about performing stand up comedy?
That's a really good from one comic to another, right? That's just a really inside comedy question, Jim.
What do you love?
Yeah.
But I've been asked that a million times. I always have my answer for it.
What is it?
The immediacy of the response. You do radio, it's great, but you really can't tell. Stand up, you know immediately if you're great or if you stink.
Huh. I think I've heard and read you say that.
Sure. I mean, what are you
many,
going to say?
many times,
It's a question that's not fodder for great jokes.
The chicks.
Yeah. I don't know. Getting blown. What do you want me to tell you?
Right. Right.
I've said that too.
I've never had that.
What?
You never had like comedy groupies?
No,
How long have you been married?
4 years. I had a couple girls. There was a stretch where I was single, and I had a couple girls ask me out, and we'd go on dates. But I've never had the comedy groupie situation.
I've had some over the years, not as many as a lot of guys, but I've had a decent amount over 28 years.
Mhm.
But they're few and far between.
Never hooked up after a show.
Yeah, I have. Sometimes
Are they
it's fun.
nuts?
Some are nuts, some are not. Some are
Uh-huh.
actually just normal, and they want a guy who can make them laugh, or they just like what you do and they know what you do. It really depends on how somebody knows you and how.
Yeah. But the guy who's been opening for me hooks up all the time on the road.
Oh, really?
We do the shows, and then people DM him on Instagram. It happens all the time.
Who's opening for you? Is he good looking?
This guy named Carmen Christopher. He's pretty good looking.
Okay, maybe
Very
that's it. So,
charming.
like, a lot of times, if it's a guy that will get laid anyway, like I'm not necessarily a guy that will get laid anyway, so I would always
True.
like be. Yeah,
I also don't drink. I don't drink. That's a big piece of the puzzle too.
sure to go out, have a drink, and get
buy
to.
somebody a drink.
Yeah.
and all that.
I'll buy you a drink, but I won't. I just sit there like a fucking vulture with club soda, so it feels kind of creepy.
That starts to feel predatory, right? When you're like, let me buy you a drink, and then you're like, I'll get a seltzer for myself.
And I don't want somebody too drunk. I mean, it just I don't want. It just doesn't. It doesn't turn me on because what turns me on is a woman being dirty. But someone who's too drunk, it's like, ugh, fucking sloppy. What are you gonna puke? Like I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
That fine line between dirty and sloppy is a real deal breaker for you.
It's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, like I like somebody's real mentality. Like there are girls who are just fucking dirty, and I like that mentality. It turns me on a lot. Like a woman who understands what makes me turned on and knows how to utilize that is a sexy quality. Someone who's just drunk and will do anything. It's like, ugh, you do this for anybody.
Can I? Here's something I've always wanted to ask you. Are there? Do you find that
Give
there
me an example from your life.
God.
When...
Yeah, an example of one.
Are there people who take that as a challenge though? Are there people who come at you who are like, I'm gonna out dirty Norton?
I don't know. I mean,
Can they?
Sure. I mean, this weird. I'll tell you one thing that stops me in my tracks. A fucking period. A girl's
Okay.
period is garlic around the window for me. It's a crucifix.
Well, that's because it represents the wrong type of genitals.
That's an excellent point. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
That is true. A lot
That
of the
is
girls I like
symbolic.
don't get their periods and they can't get pregnant.
Yeah, you like that.
You bet I do.
Yes.
But yeah, that period is not my thing. Like, and I wish it was because there's so many guys that love that. But that's one.
Are there guys that love it?
I love it.
really?
It's a fetish for a lot of guys.
I know there are guys that will put up with it, can stand it.
They're called ruby showers. There's guys that love them.
Ruby showers?
Ruby showers.
The
yeah.
Red Wings, right? You earn your Red Wings.
Earning your Red Wings, yeah, but the fetish
I've
is
heard of
ruby.
like crime scene sex. I've never heard
Sure.
of ruby showers.
Yeah.
So do they
There's
get
ruby.
perioded on them?
I guess, or Roman showers is being puked on. Like I don't get that one either.
Wow.
Roman showers.
Oh yeah. They're very, very well known. Not my thing. Those are not. Those are a couple of things that will stop me in my tracks. But periods more than anything will stop me.
I didn't know that I was into eating ass until someone made me do it. And
They made you do
and
that.
then I
That's,
realized I loved
how did she
it.
make you do
I
it?
love how excited that got you.
Because you said she made him do it.
The
How'd she-
whole tone of voice changed.
How did she?
She grabbed me by the hair and put me where she wanted me.
That's fucking
amazing.
so hot.
Because I'm so glad you said that because Jim always gets like when somebody says, no, I don't do that, haven't done that, he goes like, what are you doing? What are you,
It's disgusting
what
to
are you
me.
doing?
It's literally it's stingy on their part. So now you like doing it.
Love it.
Did she sit on your face to get you to do it, or she grabbed you and and laid it on her stomach?
She was on all fours. Doggy style.
Did she say eat it, or
Kind
did?
of reached back.
Oh, that's so
pushed me towards it.
fucking.
Yeah.
That's so sexy.
How do you figure it out when that's like a foreign concept? You're like, I just don't. It's not in my repertoire.
Well, she was
You
kind of pointing me at the angle away from where I would think, and then I heard her giggling, and I was like, "Oh, she's making me do this," and it's like a power move.
That's so fucking. I would
I
have
see.
sniffed it first.
Would
like
you?
A dog.
What if it wasn't so fresh?
At times it's not. I mean, there's a line to it where you want it to be, good, right?
Clean.
But,
I like
but an
clean.
ass is an ass.
You like clean. Jim likes a little sweaty.
Yeah,
I like right out of the shower.
Oh,
I'll
no.
dive in.
Jim
no.
likes right after a jog.
Yeah, if she's right out of the shower, I'll throw on the fucking bike in the gym for an hour. Go in there and fucking ass this thing up, you fucking goose.
Jim says we can skip that final step at Equinox. There's no reason to stop in the showers. Right back to the apartment.
Yeah, but I mean, that to me, see that right there, she made me do like that.
You
to
like
me
that?
is so. That goes back to fucking when I was 14 and making you do it and just guiding that turns me on so much.
You like getting treated like a worm.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Just fucking wormed up. Get back there and fucking put your fucking head in my ass and hang out like it's an apple. Like I'm literally a worm.
You do what I tell you. You do what I tell you.
Yeah, I guess I'm more of a submissive than that. Like I can be dominant too, but I like the.
So
I like that.
What about when people try to be dominant, but it's just not sexy? It's just like
Well,
you
it's
can
like
tell
if
you're
you-
putting on an act. Like,
It's like anything else. I'm sure when I try to shove my dick in, it's not hard. It's not sexy either. So
is that right?
yeah, I'm sure that's not
That's
sexy.
And you're
Happen?
there double thumbing it when you got to do the
oh,
double thumb.
yeah, yep. Double thumbing it is exactly it. You fucking, but then my nails are a little long, so I'm fucking poking the head. I know. Got to keep these nails at MMA level.
Yeah, check them.
Yeah, it's the worst, right? Nothing is a worse source of shame than that.
Yeah, just trying to get it done.
Doesn't work.
But
There's
you-
no way
that's
to
a-
will it.
Is that an issue for you, Chris? Because Jim has a real issue with that.
I mean,
At times.
I'm not gonna lie, it's happened. It's particularly. I tell you, it's a particularly embarrassing issue when your last name spells out the words "get hard,"
Right.
which mine does.
Oh my god!
There's, like,
I
no
didn't
way
even
around.
realize that.
Come on, no,
Really?
No, never.
Yeah,
Oh,
my name spells "get hard."
right. At least I'm sure they didn't make fun of you like in school for that.
Oh my god, you have no idea.
Maybe that's why my career has not gone past the level it's at. I didn't realize that Gethard was fodder for comedy. It is get hard, and I didn't even see it.
Well, you haven't gotten quite to 5th grade humor yet.
I'm the worst.
You're down around 2nd.
God, that really is humiliating.
Yeah, that's
It was
bad.
bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, my middle name's Paul, so it's C. Paul Get Hard. That's my name.
So what do you do when that happens?
When you can't get it up.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm married, and obviously one of the things you get married to someone for is your good sexual chemistry, so it's much less of an issue. But it would happen back in the day, and it was always embarrassing. It was always embarrassing. What do you do?
Yeah.
I guess you just go, you say it's not you, and then you go to bed. Like, what do you do?
I blame them.
You
Thanks
do?
for nothing, pig.
This doesn't happen when it's not you.
Exactly. Thanks a lot.
Jim's been having sex with a rubber pelvis to try to get himself back to the point where he can stay
To
hard.
normal, yes.
Where'd you get that?
I just went to a porn place. I ordered one in the mail too. I got the. I haven't used them in weeks though. After talking about it on the air, it's just too silly.
You think about that?
It's just too
Wait,
silly.
That we were all teasing you for it.
But
now
you were
it's-
right.
So
Yeah.
it's like an actual fake vagina?
Yeah.
So not why not like a fleshlight? Why did you choose?
I used one too, and I broke it. I kept.
How do you break a fleshlight?
Well, because I kept fucking it, and the fleshy part was caving in, so my dick was hitting the plastic, and I got so mad one night. I took it and I, with oil on my hands, smashed it on my floor and shattered it.
That's a water. That's a high watermark
It
moment
really
in
is.
life. Huh?
Amazing.
Yeah, believe me, that's one step below a belt.
But I don't want this show.
Does your neighbor start hitting the ceiling with the broomstick?
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck is he doing? Oh, it's him again. We get it.
So he's smashing fleshlights again. I don't want this show to be a negative thing for your sexual health. If you need to fuck severed torsos for a while, I don't want us giggling at your expense.
I'm
to
back
stop
to
you
the
from
nipple
doing that.
play.
Oh
I
no,
know.
we fucked up.
Have you heard about
We
these
fucked up.
the sex doll brothels?
I have, yes. Just repulsive to me.
Toronto and Houston.
I don't get it. To go fuck a doll and pay for it? How creepy. I mean,
Especially
that's really.
because you know that. I mean, they're like comedy clubs in the sense that comedy clubs don't switch out mics every time. They're not switching out the dolls every time.
That is an issue, right?
That's
Yeah,
a
but then
huge
again, women
issue.
don't strip it. Well, you fuck a woman, other people have fucked her, but there's just something different
The
about
body has a natural way of cleansing itself that a rubber doll doesn't.
that. Oh, yeah, I don't get it.
It's disgusting.
It is.
So you're back to like jerking off a lot and stuff?
Not a lot, but I've shot a few.
Oh no,
Damn.
Troy, we fucked him up.
That
We shouldn't
sucks.
have laughed at your expense.
Well, you
Sorry,
weren't
Joe.
wrong.
I
I
know,
would have
but-
laughed too.
But I want you to be sexual. Are you still using your pump?
Yeah, I used it once yesterday, occasionally here and there.
Are you getting your treatments?
I haven't gone, but I have 2 more to get, and I'm done. And I was
What
away.
treatments?
Oh, I've been going for these dick wandings.
I'm shocked at the amount of things that have been referenced in the past 3 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
You're going
obsessed
all
with his
out, huh?
penis.
yeah. I really am. I've just been getting them wanded with sound waves, and it's just good to repair. Because I jerked off for so many years, so rough.
Did you go dry?
Not went dry, but it was just like the sensitivity wasn't what it was, and they're actually pretty helpful.
The wandings?
Yeah.
It's just my favorite quote of all time. I've been getting these dick wantings.
This is invariably going
And-
to
and
this is going to
Chris-
lead to some fetish no one sees coming.
I know,
right?
probably, yeah. Electric shocking in my dick.
You're like need a girl to like hum on the head of your dick.
Why don't you write a self-help book, except just about self-helping your own dick?
You know what? I have a lot of experience with it. With
Yeah.
what can go wrong, and the wandings that you have to put a cream on that numbs your dick, they hurt. Like, I mean, again, they're worth it, but my dick's more sensitive than I thought.
You have to numb the dick for the wandings?
Well, yeah, they're like, I have the sound somewhere. Let me see if I can find the sound. I'll
Go
play
ahead.
the sound. You guys talk.
If
Go ahead.
there's a chance you picked the wrong audio file, though, and we all hear something that we do not want to hear.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
When you start hearing about disastrous stuff like this, does it start to make you feel a little better about your life?
Absolutely.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Everybody's got something. Right?
Everybody's got stuff going on. It really is
Everybody's
amazing.
got something.
Do people, when you write a book like this, do people go to the signings and stuff and feel like now, since you're so, like you did your special, you've done this book, you're so kind of open about your mental stuff, do people feel like they can share with you all of their shit?
Oh yeah, you have no idea. It
And you
comes
don't
in
wanna-
every day since my special. I get messages online from people who are in really dark places or been through dark stuff, and it's very beautiful and flattering that they feel. You know, some people say I've never opened up to anyone about this, but it's like there is an element to which it's like you're making a point to tell me because I've publicly gone here. And I'm so flattered, but also you're getting it off your chest, and it kind of winds up on me a little bit. Like I just get sad. I get sad hearing
Right.
all this
And there's
stuff.
nothing
It's
you
hard.
can do.
Nope, zero things I can do.
Yeah.
And it's very hard. And then sometimes I won't answer people because I can't answer all those things. And then people get mad at or take it as if like, oh, the guy who talks about this won't talk about it with me. And it's like I can't talk to thousands of people about depression. I'll jump off a fucking bridge.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Yeah, I try to say, I've gotten like people who write, and they say, hey man, I want to commit suicide. I get that. And if I see that, I'll answer it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't check all my messages all the time, and I get a lot of email, but you always want to give somebody a little encouragement. But when it's a lot of people and it's like, I don't know what's going on in your life. Do you drink? Do you do drugs? Do you have PTSD? Are you just mentally
Yeah.
ill? Like, I don't know what the fuck, I don't know what's going
I'm
on.
not qualified. My shrink actually had to step in and say like, you can't you can't even try. You have to ignore all this stuff. You're not trained to do this or qualified to do it.
See, I always
Right.
give advice. Walk in, tell that bitch. I give specific advice and guarantee results.
You probably just refer them to a therapist, I think.
Yeah. I found the sound.
You did. Okay, this is the sound that repairs. So if everybody can put their dicks to the radio right now, you're actually going to repair the tissue.
Well,
in
do
it.
you see? You can't see my dick. Do you see what she's holding? Like, do you see that there's a glove and it's almost like a fucking a welding gun?
What the fuck is that?
You can hear it like.
Oh. Oh my God, my dick feels better already.
It's like a jackhammer.
It certainly is.
What happens?
She just runs it over your dick and it shoots in sound waves, and they give you micro tears, little way underneath the surface. And what happens is when you pump your dick or whatever, it forces blood into your dick to repair them, and you get new vessels and stuff like that. And it's just better it makes your dick healthier.
So you're numb. Your dick is numb while that happens.
Yeah. I mean, not totally numb. You can feel it.
Do you get hard from it?
No. She told me some guys have, but I can't. Not from that. And I've gotten the PRP shots twice, which is when they pull blood out of your arm and they do something with the blood and it's platelet-rich blood, and then they inject it into your dick. The first time that happened, I almost threw up and fainted. And the second time, they had to numb me with other shots in my pubis, and then they did the 5 shots. They hurt.
And is this all covered by insurance?
No.
You're paying out of pocket for all this?
Yeah, why not? Insurance doesn't care about my dick.
How did you even
They
find this
don't?
jackhammer treatment?
I did a pilot for a show. Danny Daniels is a porn star, and she had this dinner with Danny, and it was just fun thing where it's like they're like you and a few porn stars eat dinner. So I
Sounds
did.
fun.
It was great. I did it. It was with her, Alexis Texas, Asa Akira,
Oh, that's awesome.
and Phoenix Marie. And I think that, and Danny. And during the thing, Phoenix Marie does this gains wave, it's called. And she told me about it. She talked about it. Yeah, where they zap waves into your dick and it's supposed to help with your erection. So I talked to her after. And she's like, no, it's a legit thing. I've gone for training. And they really do this. So I looked it up in New York. I talked to a doctor friend. He goes, yeah, there's good research on it. It's like, even if it doesn't help your erection, it's just, it's better for your dick. It's just healthier for your dick. So I wasn't jerking off. So I went. And when I was in Vegas, I actually went and saw her for a session too. So I had this fucking sexy porn star handling my dick. It was all numbed up. And she told me, like, yeah, you have a nice dick. She was complimenting my penis.
Oh my God.
Completely unsexual, though. I got nothing.
But you get to think about that afterwards.
I did, yeah, but she might have just been being polite.
I don't know.
No,
that
why
seems
do that?
like
Why beat yourself up like that?
and that seems pretty specific
Take
to just
the
be polite.
compliment.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would too.
Yeah. But she had gloves on. Or did she or no? I don't remember.
That doesn't change her opinion. Her
She was very
perspective.
nice.
You just used a presence of gloves as a way to say, like, oh, she doesn't really know my dick.
Maybe
Yeah,
you're
when
right.
you have gloves on, every dick is a nice dick.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, she was, but she does it, and it's legit, and she knew what she was doing. I trusted her, because again, she showed me the classes she goes to and like what they do to train you, and it's really intense training you have to go through to get certified to do this. And I was in a medical facility.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so I suggest it. I do it here in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Did you watch? You said wrestling before. Did you watch Evolution last night?
haven't
The all
watched
women's
it yet.
pay-per-view.
No.
Ronda did very, very, very well. It's amazing how quickly Ronda Rousey is taking to pro wrestling.
Well, she's a great athlete, and she loved it anyway. So it doesn't.
she's
and she
cutting
can fight.
promos well now.
The
Oh, good.
showman, she took to the showmanship side of it right away.
yeah. Yeah, like she's becoming an entertainer. I guess she's done movies before, but it's pretty amazing to watch.
And did the new girl from Japan debut last night?
Uh,
Io, was that her name?
yeah, from the Mae Young
Yeah.
classic.
Oh,
yeah,
she was
yeah,
in
yeah.
Mae Young.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
What's Mae Young?
She was great too. It's they do an all women's tournament
Oh,
on the
okay.
network, and they did their first all women's pay per view
And okay,
on
good.
Long
See,
Island last night, and it was a good show.
UFC does that too. They're pushing a lot of female fighters because again, they're good fighters.
Yeah.
And I think they also want that market, and it will also get young women to maybe more interested in instead of just watching guys fight, they're actually watching something that they feel more connected to.
They're having
Right.
female fights headline now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, Cyborg Amanda Nunes is the co-main event. I think at the Garden, Cormier Lewis. I believe that's the co-main.
People are rumoring about
No, it's not.
Cyborg.
Sorry, it's not. It's in Vegas at the end of the year. It's a co-main.
People are throwing rumors around about WWE trying to bring in Cyborg.
She has more fights in UFC, and she's still such a fucking.
But she could come into WWE to do something, come back to UFC type of thing.
I guess she could, yeah. I mean,
Brock did.
Yeah, and Ronda never came back. But yeah, there is the thing. They talked about Conor doing it, but he won't. But I think eventually he will.
He will eventually.
The money they'll throw at him will be too much.
Right. I think Conor, once he's kind of finished in UFC, that's when he'll take a dip
Sure.
over into WWE world.
I bet if he loses 2 more fights.
Yeah,
he has a
he starts
6-fight
losing.
deal.
Oh, he has a 6-fight deal.
6-fight deal. And he'll pick the next fight carefully. I mean, he lost to Khabib. He's not going to get the rematch immediately, so he might fight one more fight. Maybe he does Nate Diaz or talk about Anderson Silva, which I really don't need to see. Fuck, I don't want to see him fight at
Yeah, but you know
185.
what? You know, night of, you'd be like,
I would watch
this
it.
is cool.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. That's how WWE got Ronda, probably. I mean, she didn't want to fight anymore because she was losing.
Yeah, the Amanda loss was terrible.
Yeah. You go to WWE, she could be the champion forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, I think that they're the co-main in Vegas, John Jones against Gustafson, which I'm happy to see Jones fighting again. I'm
I
really
am
happy.
too.
Yes.
I feel like it's such a series of like, it's not just the steroid stuff. It's like crashing the car and running away. It's that stuff where it's like, it's hard to root for the guy at this point.
It's fun to watch him fight, though. I wouldn't say that I root for him.
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
And he's undefeated. I mean, that one loss was a bullshit technicality. Fucking, 12 o'clock elbow. I mean, come on. That was a nonsense loss. So he's technically undefeated.
Do you think he was just like, do you think he's a pathological liar? Do you think because he came in here and he did his whole spiel.
Well, he has to lie here.
And 2 weeks later, he was busted for. But I mean, he went over the top to talk about how not on steroids he was.
I almost don't think he did this one on purpose because the stuff they found wouldn't have worked immediately. It's like a cumulative effect. It would have done nothing for him, and it was like the day of. It was like in the fight day test. It would have been absolutely stupid for him to do it, knowing that they test for shit. So no, I don't think he lied about this. I don't think he did it on purpose.
Do you think he lied about the last one?
I don't know. I mean, again, I guess they found where the tainted supplement was. But again,
I don't see how much bad luck, how all this bad luck could happen to one person.
What's happened? They found in Brazil. They found it was a facility that was tainted. So a couple of guys, Junior Dos Santos and a couple of other guys who had tested positive, they were exonerated.
Not John Jones though.
No,
And this is multiple
they
times.
might have. Yeah,
This
but
is
he's had
multiple times for him.
I think he probably takes a lot of supplements too. So the more supplements you take and the more things you take, the more risk you're at. Just stop taking them.
Yeah.
What the fuck do I know?
You'd think you'd learn that.
Yeah.